Today we are having Professor Ute Rochenthaler with us. She is from Goethe University, Frankfurt. She is having expertise in trading diaspora, especially on African trading diaspora. So we are going to get valuable inputs on the issues related to trading diaspora from the professor. Yes, ma'am. First of all, I welcome you here on the behalf of organization. And my first question to you is, in what way the trading diaspora are working in different regions today, and how they are getting their space in this global world?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with you some of my research findings. And I have studied African diasporas in different Asian countries. And I have carried out research in Africa, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, in Mali, and I know traders and business people in these countries, and I followed them to these Asian countries. I have studied African businesses in Malaysia, in China. I've also been to Vietnam and to Dubai. So I see that African people are trying to put up some businesses in these countries. They are trading and importing or buying textiles, buying motor spare parts. They are buying mobile phones, electronic equipment to bring it to African countries, to different African countries, and also, if possible, they bring products, foodstuff from Africa to this Malaysia or to China and Vietnam to sell it there in order to make these things available to Africans who are already in the country and who like to eat the food from home, you know, so they can feel a bit like at home abroad. And so these are kinds of businesses that African people have tried to establish. And some of them have restaurants, some of them have coffee places, others have food shops where they can sell this. This is mainly in Malaysia. Because in China it is difficult, the government doesn't allow them to import foodstuff, so only a few have some of these things and they bring it to Chinese shops, and the Chinese people can sell it in their shops. So I think, well, the different conditions in the different countries also make a difference in which way Africans can create their space, can create African space and culture there in these countries.
Ma'am, when we talk about the trading diaspora, then my question is that in what way these trading diaspora are connected to their homeland?
Yes, Africans, if there is a larger number of them in one country, they always try to meet up with each other, and they create associations where they can meet. So they have regular meetings, and so some have national meetings, like maybe Nigerian National Association in Malaysia or in China. And so they meet regularly there, they exchange information from home, and they help each other if they have problems in the country, or if one of them needs some help. So they exchange information, they help each other, and also maybe have kind of an informal market, so they can exchange some things they have available. And also they regularly contact their families at home. Some also send remittances, some send money, some send goods they have bought in the country to back home. And so they are connecting to home, and they are also trying to do some development at home. as well as they try also to create a presence in their host country. They try to create an understanding of their activities and of their intentions and cultural practices that can often be a bit different from those in the host country.
Like when we talk about development and migration interplay, then in this paradigm, how you perceive this trading diaspora? Like as you mentioned that they are bringing money and putting investment at their home countries, as well as they are trading the things there in the host countries. So how you see the development and migration interplay in terms of, say, a dominant paradigm where it was seen in a neoclassical model that the migration is leading to the development after some time, and the spread effect or the trickle down effect takes place, and in another paradigm where it is seen in this neo-Marxist paradigm where it is seen that migration is basically exploitative for place of origin, or you put it in the third paradigm, which is an alternative paradigm where it is seen that migration and development are very are having multifaceted implications, and how this might have win-win situation for both place of origin and place of destination. So in these contexts, where you put this migration development relationship for in case of this trading diaspora?
Well, I'm an anthropologist, so anthropologists always have a tendency to first begin with their research materials and to collect really the facts, the data from people, and try to assume the perspective. And so maybe later on we try to put it in some kind of theoretical framework. So let me begin by explaining what I've observed. So, on the one hand, the African diaspora contributes to development in their African home countries, in the sense that traders bring goods, affordable goods, for a majority of the population, which formerly wasn't possible, because before Asian countries opened their markets, it was only European countries where traders went and business people went to bring goods, and often these goods were very expensive, so it was only affordable for those more wealthy people. And since Asian markets have opened, we can say that a lot of affordable goods have reached African markets, that African consumers now have a choice. They can choose between this brand or that brand, or something from this country or that country. So it's a completely new way of consumption that is made possible by these trading diasporas in the first place. And then also Asian traders and Asian business people have learned from Africans. Actually, that's really what people told me, what African traders, business people told me, that at first the government in China, for example, told them they can open a business with a Chinese partner, but they have to employ Chinese people as employees to work for them. And then they learned how to do trade with Africa, and then trying to, do the trade themselves. So now there is a lot of competition between African traders and Chinese traders, and in this context, of course, the Chinese traders have a better condition from their home country, because in China they have direct contact to factories. They can purchase products cheaper, they can ship them cheaper, and so also sell them cheaper in African countries, while the African traders are disadvantaged in China, because for them this venture is more expensive, and in their home countries it's also more difficult for them, really, because their governments are often not really helping or encouraging them to really become somebody important as an economic actor. So in the long run, we can see that it has a lot of good aspects, and it creates a lot of development. not only by making goods available, but also by sending remittances, and that communities can create community halls, for example. They can pay teachers in school, they can construct schools, and maybe sometimes also roads even. And so a lot of things happen due to the fact that Africans have traveled abroad and are sending remittances back home. And I think, yeah, this is already quite a lot what helps African countries in many ways. But there is also this competition with Asian business people and Asian traders, and also the policies that African countries negotiate with China, for example, that China can have favorable conditions in the country, so that they rather seem to help the Chinese traders instead of their own economic actors. So it's a dynamic which is still in process, and we can predict how it will develop in the future. But it's we'll see how it will develop in the future.
See, as you mentioned that in the Western world, through which the Africans were linked earlier, and the linkages were there because they were already having the colonial experience, so they were having roots there. But now with the opening of Asian economy, they are entering in the new market also. So my question is that how these trading diaspora are creating their space for themselves on the new foreign land?
Yeah, well, one thing I mentioned already were the social associations, and also they are trying to have cultural activities. Some have a yearly festival where they put up some of their traditional dances, and so regular meetings, also cooking food from home and inviting the host country, people from the host country. So they are trying to put up transversal connections in different ways and networks in order to also create a positive impact on the host country. And in fact, as I just mentioned, they create employment by trying to put up companies and businesses, and so that local people also can have employment, which is also a kind of development or activity that can help the host country. And they also make concerts sometimes and donations to orphanages. So I think this should also contribute to a more positive image of African activities in host countries.
See, when we talk about the trading diaspora, so my query is that it is only and only benefiting the individuals or a few business houses only, or we can say that these trading diaspora are developing or enriching the trading ties between the host countries and their homeland?
Well, of course, in the first place, it's a personal business, it's an individual business, but actually it's not only an individual business, but many have family ties. So they have global business networks. They have part of the family in their home country. Then they have a brother, let's say in China, another brother in Hong Kong, maybe one in Kuala Lumpur, and even maybe one in Texas in the US or in the UK. And so these people are phoning constantly, and they exchange information on markets. So they establish global businesses, and so in that way it's a larger thing. When they not only it's often a family business where brothers and sisters, uncles, extended family members take part in a network like that, but they also have customers and business partners who are from different origins, and it's much more than a family. It's much more than an individual business, much more than a family business, and it's really creating a larger, venture.
State-to-state interaction. Yeah. My next question is that can you throw light on the experience of trading African diaspora in South Asia?
Well, it's always difficult to put up something in a foreign country because you need to know about the culture, you need to know about how to do business in a foreign culture. And so it's of course a matter of communication, of being able to communicate, to learn the language, to get a common understanding in what one is trying to do. And of course, Asian economies are protecting their own economy, and they're trying to develop their own economy, but also there is the need of interaction with foreign traders, never mind whether they come from Africa, from Europe, from the US, or other Asian countries. And so there are general policies which are the same for all foreigners, but sometimes African people have the impression that the policies are not always in favor of them, and so that it is quite difficult to put up businesses freely. That can be a matter of means, of pecuniary means, in the sense that with quite substantial amounts of money you can put up your own business, your own independent business in a country. But also some African business people have the impression that business people from Europe or the US are more invited, are more favored, and have more opportunities than they have. So it's a bit ambivalent.
Ma'am, when we talk about the African trading this diaspora in different regions, like have you seen the Western trading diaspora working in African countries also? Have you compared those two communities ever?
Well, that's something for the future, which I like to do in the future, to compare in one country different diaspora opportunities, or even to compare their working in African countries, like for example, study the situation for local business people and those from Asia, those from the West, to see how they can act, how they can work in one country, or even compare the possibilities they have. And what is always very surprising to me, what I really appreciate in African business people, is that despite their disadvantaged in the foreign economy and also in the home economy often, that despite these obstacles they are still doing their business, and they still put up something, and they are also quite successful. They are quite successful people, and I really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Professor Uthe Rochenthaler. We are really obliged that you have given your precious time and shared your experience on trading diaspora, which is a new emerging issue in this area of international migration. Thank you very much.